Unite for human rights. A position last night where I was literally in tears when I saw the vote coming in from North Carolina. And I'm sure many of you felt that same emotion because here in Texas we know what that feels like.
Yes, we do. Yes.
And that emotion quickly changed today with our president's announcement that he will in fact come out in support of same-sex marriage.
This is a historic day in the United States.
Yes, it is.
Never before has a sitting president said that he believes in the rights of lesbian and gay people to marry. This, my friends, is a historic, game-changing moment for our country.
Today is a day to remember. It is the biggest day in our modern-day movement and our modern-day history.
What a 24-hour period it's been for us. I've heard the word roller coaster several times, and I know that's exactly what I felt when I sat at home last night and watched the voters in North Carolina enshrine discrimination into their constitution. But we heard earlier that it was the voters, and I just looked it up. It wasn't the voters. There's 30% turnout in North Carolina, and only a majority of those voted for discrimination. So it's not the whole state, just like in Texas, it's not the whole state. So we have to change our attitudes that we are less than and that there are people out there who want to take away these rights, because I don't believe it. And I know you all don't either. You wouldn't be here tonight.
I want you to know that before I got to Texas 20 years ago, I grew up in North Carolina. I was born in North Carolina.
All right.
I was baptized in North Carolina.
That's all right.
I was ordained to the ministry of Jesus Christ in North Carolina.
That's real all right.
I was educated to be a theologian in North Carolina.
Okay.
And so the ties that I have with home are equally as dear as they are here in my Lone Star home.
All right.
And last night, I got calls from my friends and my family in Surrey County and Wake County and Mecklenburg County. People who had gone flat out against Amendment 1, who stand for equality as purely as any true blue activist ever could. I want to tell you about one of them in the short time I'm going to take. Her name is Hannah Jones. She is the daughter of my college classmate, the Reverend Phil Jones. She woke up this morning after the results were tallied in the North Carolina election, when a majority of a minority enshrined discrimination in the state constitution. And she said to her father, "Daddy, I don't want to go to school today. I'm ashamed of my state." And Phil understood. He said to her, "Hannah, you need to go to school anyway." And she did. But she called her daddy back up and she said, "Daddy, President Obama has come out for gay marriage. I feel all right." We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
This is where we come. This is where we cross all color lines, we cross all racial lines.
That's right.
And this is where we got to sit down and start talking with each other.
That's right.
Okay? It's good to come here and get fired up and to get excited about what happened today. President Obama said some profound stuff today.
Yeah.
It resonated across the country. And you're right. They finna go after him. And we need to get his back, guys. We need to get his back. It's gonna take him a lot longer than 4 years to do what the plan that needs to be taking place for us to get out of the
When I came out in 2006, my parents kicked me out of the house, and I had to move in with my boyfriend, who was living in a one-bedroom apartment with one other roommate. A year later, we moved into another place. My parents started talking to me, but didn't want to have anything to do with my boyfriend. So, a few years later, I moved here to Dallas, became part of the gay community, really loved it here. People are constantly asking me why I moved from Arkansas. I think it's a stupid-ass question. But this past year, my mom and I went to Los Cabos, Mexico. And while we were walking on the beach, I asked her, if I were to ever get married, would you come to my wedding? She told me, not just no, but hell no. And I looked at her, I was like, you kicked me out of the house, you've made me feel like shit for many years, but if you ever did not come to my wedding, the happiest day of my life, I would never ever talk to you again. 2 weeks later, my mom called me up, said she had prayed about it, talked to all of her coworkers, talked to all my family, talked to everybody at her church, and she said that if I were to ever get married, not only would she be there, my dad would be there, my grandparents would be there, and the entire church would be there to support me. Now, I'm not saying that you should threaten your parents, but people do change, and I am proof of that. Thank you. Are we going to settle for anything less than 100%